Humans have always found a way to adapt and accommodate their way of life. Even way before the Industrial Revolution, humans have ever had this drive. They would be reached with an obstacle and they'd say, let me find a way to make this better. No, I like this. Wait, we can do this. Their way, something that couldn't and really grasp, was death and dying. Palliative care is a way to provide security with patients to help comfortably be in the moment for their last days on this earth.
I miss April. She was an exact woman. You know, she always knew it was best and truly wanted the most out of life. If she was anything,
that time, do you remember? The doctors came in and everything, and I came back from work, and then we were all expecting her to be on her bed, like almost to the end of life, but there she was putting on makeup.
She said, I want your last view of me to be a good one because the creepy old ladies in the morgue aren't going to get my eyes right.
April had bronchial carcinoma. I met with her when she had less than 6 months left, and I wanted to make sure she felt secure. I needed to help her team be on the same page as well.
We didn't know a lot about palliative care walking into this, but once we were somewhat familiar with it, we didn't really want to think about the death, but instead of how it was still relevant and essential.
I mean, having to support her and help her research all her options, it gave us a chance to grieve because instead of just waiting, we made fair use of our last moments actually together and doing them.
One thing that really helped us through palliative care was that the main goal of the palliative care is to provide relief from the stress, pain from their diagnosis, and a better quality of life. They focus on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they don't treat the dying patient as if they're like at the end of life, but instead to revive, but as a human who remembered their experience.
Luckily for us, the cons like cost, looking for the right environment, and time weren't really a big obstacle.
Things like good communication and a good team are very crucial to this process, and honesty and support from the healthcare team are very vital. It was difficult because the pressure that was there trying to figure out what was best for April in the end.
There are many options for at-home care. I would definitely want to do it myself. April felt at home in the hospital, which is unlikely. I mean, home care allows you to be in the comfort of your own home while getting treatment that improves your quality of life. People who receive palliative care at home are shown to have a better quality of life, and it helps the process not be so depressing.
Usually about 50 to 90% of patients with cancer prefer to die at home. Typically, patients pick their place of death where they feel the safest and most comfortable. Luckily, April has grown to love our facility and wanted her last moments to be with her family, including her care team. When a patient is deciding a location, many factors come into play: the atmosphere, symptom management, fear of loss of their dignity.
My own opinion, I think there are benefits for the hospital itself, and even though it seemed really scary at first, like a machine or factory, April felt comfort that everything was there, and she decided because the community she had at the hospital was something that she wanted during her last few days.
I agree. She felt like hospice was aimed towards death. She told me that she wanted to die in a place that had hope. She found comfort knowing that a baby could possibly be being born in the next room, or a life is being saved.
And even though hospice was aimed towards finding comfort in death and specializing in managing symptoms, the thought of hospice was depressing to her.
She still wanted to feel like she could die in a place full of outcomes, not just death.
And I think as well that most cancer patients choose to die at home because they spent most of their life or the remainder of their life at a hospital, at a facility. If I were to reverse time 6 months from now, I wouldn't have changed a thing. Every step of the way you've shown me what it's like to be truly loved and cared for. If you were here, I'd say to you, thank you for putting up with all my crap. I remember when I told you I thought my life was over because I lost my job, and I felt like everything that I worked for was crumbling down. And instead of just giving me advice and sympathy, you experienced it throughout with me. You held my hand and assured me that everything was going to be okay. You made my life worth living. You guided me through my purpose, and you taught me that although I doubted myself for a long time, I can honestly do anything. Do you want to read the last part?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a moment. She goes, remember when I said that if I did this over, I wouldn't change a thing? I lied. I would make sure I got my toes done. Of all things, toes. I don't want them to see my crusty feet when they put that tag on me. Oh my gosh.
The thing is that we are still developing and are still in the early stages of research. Hospice care was brought up in 1974. The foundation that is required for hospice is lacking in a majority of healthcare facilities in America.
Dr. Miller, dial 216. Dr. Miller, dial 216.